Have you ever walked out your front door and the first thing that you notice is that it smells like rain, and then all of a sudden you look up and a wall of dark clouds is heading your way? That is pretty much what is happening in Major League Baseball, and no one is talking about it. It was a huge topic about 4 or 5 months ago, and then all of a sudden the season started and then everything kind of went back to normal. But after the 2021 season, the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, is up. The player strike is upon us. A full-blown thunderstorm, or as the title says, a full-blown civil war is in the works, and I want to make sure that you're all ready for it, because this could put me out of a job if I have nothing to cover. Now, yes, I can play MLB The Show, but I love making MLB recaps, and if the Civil War does take place, we might be without baseball until 2023. It could very well happen. So if you're brand new to this topic, you have no idea what I'm talking about, that a player strike is the thing that we should be worried about most. A lot of people are concerned that the 2021 season is going to be delayed because of COVID. That should be the least of our worries. If it's delayed into May, that's fine. At least we still get baseball. This civil war between the owners and the players, I should say Robert Manfred, the owners and the players, this could cause mayhem for upwards of a year, and again, we might not have baseball. So the three biggest things, in my opinion, that could cause this: one, service time manipulation. I'll give some examples so you guys know what I'm talking about. Number two, arbitration. And then last but not least, the players, their revenue share has actually gone down over the last decade. So the players want an increase in revenue sharing, and the owners are probably going to say, no, we own the team. You're essentially our employees. You just play baseball and go from there. So it could get very bad very soon. So if you want to see more in-depth videos, do not be afraid to hit that like button as well as subscribe. We're so close to 250,000 subscribers, 250,000. I cannot believe I'm saying that out loud. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the first thing that could cause a civil war between Manfred, the owners, and the rest of the players in Major League Baseball. And the first thing is service time manipulation. The recent example of this was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, what the Blue Jays were going to do is they were going to hold him down in the minors, even though it was clear that he was ready for Major League Baseball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ended up getting injured, so they did not have to call him up when the season was actually starting. But let's say that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. never got injured. He would have experienced the exact same thing that happened to Kris Bryant back in 2015 when he was a rookie. So for some context, in 2014 in the minors, Kris Bryant had a .355 batting average with 22 home runs and a 1.136 OPS. He was Mark McGwire on steroids in the minors, so he was 100% ready to get called up. But what were the Cubs thinking? They were trying to ensure that Kris Bryant would be a member of the Chicago Cubs for as long as possible. So what you could do is you could manipulate service time in order to delay free agency. So the 2015 season came, right? All of a sudden, the entire baseball community is talking about this kid getting called up, but he was not on the opening day roster. And the biggest reason why is because if the Cubs held him down in the minors, I think it was for 2 weeks or a month, something like that, they would be able to delay his free agency by a season, and especially arbitration. They were able to keep him under contract for a full couple years, which is not right. So that is the biggest issue that we have at hand. And to prove my point even further, something that I forgot to mention, I talked about how Kris Bryant was a monster in the 2014 minor league season. Well, he was called up to the spring training squad, and in 14 games, he had a .425 batting average and 9 home runs. He was the best hitter in all of spring training. But what did they do? They held him down for Jonathan Herrera, Tommy La Stella, and Michael. None of those guys combined are as good as Kris Bryant on his worst day. But what happened? They held him down, and at the end of the 2015 season, Kris Bryant was credited with 171 days, 1 day short of a full season, and in doing so, they pushed back his free agency to 2021. He filed a grievance, and the update is that he lost that grievance. He won't be a free agent until after 2021. They held him down in the minors. They were able to delay free agency as well as arbitration for a full year, which really sucks. So if you're confused as to what arbitration is, let me go ahead and break it down real quick. This is coming from MLB.com. So players who have 3 or more years of Major League service but less than 6 years of MLB service become eligible for salary arbitration if they do not already have a contract for the next season. So instead of being able to apply for arbitration and make millions and millions of dollars more in revenue, he is going to be suppressed, and his free agency value is going to be moved further down the road. So they held him down in the minors, and Kris Bryant got absolutely hosed. He tried to get even more money from the arbitrators, because what happens is Kris Bryant says, I deserve more money. The arbitrators, they sided with the Chicago Cubs, and in my opinion, if I'm Kris Bryant, I'm thinking, as soon as I'm a free agent, I am getting the heck away from the Chicago Cubs, because they held me down for service time when I was clearly ready to make the major league roster, and then they made sure that I did not get my full value in arbitration. They sent it to the arbitrators, and of course, I could be wrong because this is me just trying to recollect, but I'm pretty sure that the arbitrators are selected by Major League Baseball. So what side are they going to take? MLB or the player? They're always going to try and save the team and the league more money. So they screwed over Kris Bryant 2 separate times. It would have been Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as well if he did not get injured. So that's the number one thing. Service time manipulation has to be included in the 2021 and forward CBA. They just have to get rid of it. Now, in regards to salary arbitration, we just talked about it a little bit. In my opinion, 1 and 2 with the service time manipulation as well as arbitration, they really work off each other. Kris Bryant is the prime example of a player getting hosed. He was screwed over first and foremost with the service time manipulation, and then of course that led him to also get screwed in free agency because he was only eligible for arbitration. So they mess with that. Those are the 2 biggest things that the players are going to have a strike over. They might not play if this is going to affect the next generation of players for the next 20 to 30 years of baseball. They are going to make sure that this is nipped in the bud, and if it's not, they will not play baseball. We will not see Mike Trout and Kris Bryant and Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge play baseball for a while. So those are the 2 biggest things. And then third, in my opinion, kind of last but not least, is that the players simply want an increase in revenue sharing, and they want to spread it around, because the teams, when they have a full 162 game schedule and they have fans in the seats and the fans are buying merchandise, they're spending money on beers, overpriced hot dogs, they are making hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in revenue, in profit every single year. And then when you factor in the teams that make the postseason, they make billions in a single postseason. That's how much money is at stake, and the players want to see more of that. They want to see more gate revenue that is spread around. They want to see more postseason revenue that is spread around, and that actually happened in the 2020 negotiations for the COVID season. The players took a prorated salary, and in exchange, they pretty much got a bigger percent of the cut for postseason revenue. And then there was also a postseason sharing scheme where, so let's say that a team like let's go with the Tigers, they did not make the playoffs, but the Yankees, they made it all the way until the ALCS, or actually they lost in the division series. Sorry, Yankees fans are probably gonna come for me, but the Tigers actually got a cut of the postseason money because Major League Baseball understood that they have no money, they didn't have any fans, and now they're not gonna get any share of the postseason revenue. So they all decided to share, and that's what the players want. They've seen it done before. So I think that opened Pandora's box, that if Major League Baseball owners are gonna be nice enough to open the floodgates and pay teams that didn't even make the playoffs, maybe the players can get in on that as well. If it goes back to a full 162 game schedule and everything is in order, I'm pretty sure that the players, even if it's just a 5% increase or a 10% increase that is spread around to the guys that were just called up and they get a nice Christmas bonus, that is all that the players want. They want a cut of the revenue sharing, and I'm okay with that. So those are the 3 things that could cause a civil war. We have service time manipulation, hopefully it gets addressed. Service time manipulation leads into salary arbitration, how players get screwed out of tens of millions of dollars because the team says, you're worth this, we're going to pay you that, and if you don't like it, we're going to take you to the arbitrators who are essentially hired by us, and you're not going to win. JT Realmuto, he lost his case. So it just goes to show you that players are not the main priority for the owners. It is making that money. They keep preaching safety, safety, safety. Some of them might be genuine, but they are all about that cheddar. They're all about that bread, which leads to the third point, which is that the players want an increase in revenue sharing. I can get behind that. So that is today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. A thunderstorm is brewing. A civil war is in the works. Let me know, whose side are you on? Do you think that the players are being babies, or do you think that they have valid points? Let me know in the comment section down below. Again, we're so close to 250,000 subs, 250,000. So if you're going to subscribe, today is the day to do so. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay safe.